To celebrate Trump leaving the White House, I want to do something a little special and talk about all the objectively good things he's done as president. I know that American politics is complex, and what I know being from Australia, but during Christmas, I had a family friend who is from America tell me that he's done more as a president than Obama did. Other than mentioning Obamacare and getting out of a recession in 2009, I was really surprised that a president could do more than the previous one before them in half the time. I wanted to make at least 10 good things, but after doing much research, I found many quite debatable, and it's really depending who it's coming from. My mission then was to find the objectively best things he's done, basically those things that are harder to refute and both sides of politics can agree on. After all the time I spent online, I was only able to get to 8, although please let me know in the comment section below any that I got wrong or any that I missed. And before we begin, please like and subscribe to help this in the YouTube algorithm. Criminal justice reform. It seems like a joke that a president under so many criminal investigations would be for prison reform and the betterment of the incarcerated, but he is. Trump has actually moved the needle quite a bit regarding America's terrible prison system. The First Step Act may be, appropriately, just a nudge in the right direction, but it is undeniably movement. Among its initiatives are expansion of earned time credits, more chances for prisoners to slowly transition from prison to society through halfway homes, time off sentences for vocational achievements, and better approaches to mandatory sentencing that retroactively reduce drug sentences of ridiculous length. Let's also not forget that he personally granted clemency to Alice Johnson, a 63-year-old woman who had been serving time for a drug charge since 1996. Of the 2.1 million incarcerated people in the United States, fewer than 10% are held in federal prison systems. Yet federal prisons play a disproportionately large role in the prison system. They set trends that states follow and suggest standards for the states to emulate. The Trump administration's first step prison reform proposals were cautions, but humane. Women in prison will also receive sanitary products free of cost, helping to end the economic exploitation of prisoners, who are often overcharged for basic necessities. The most important benefit of the First Step program is that it offers political cover to states to embark on their own reforms. If the supposedly tough on crime, law and order Trump administration can endorse lighter sentences and free tampons, so can conservative state politicians. Gun control. After the NRA spent years saying that Barack Obama's gun confiscation was right around the corner, and thereby increasing gun sales to an all-time high, it's somewhat ironic that Trump has embraced gun control in small ways. His administration used powers already granted to the Justice Department to ban bump stocks, the accessories that allow semi-automatic rifles to mimic automatic ones. The shooter in the 2017 Las Vegas massacre, which remains the deadliest mass shooting in United States history so far, used one in his attack. Trump's unfortunately vowed to veto an expansion of background checks passed by the House, but there's no getting around that he did eliminate one of the tools of mayhem with a single pen stroke. Salary donation. For a president who seems to literally be unable to stop lying, Trump actually has a good record keeping campaign promises. Despite what you think of the man, one of those promises was that he would donate his presidential salary rather than keep it. And every year he has done exactly that. Yes, he is a billionaire, so of course he doesn't need the money, although the fact that he didn't take the check shows that he does have some kind of soul. He has gifted his entire paycheck to various places since assuming office, including the National Park Service, the US Education Department, the Transportation Department, the Department of Health and Humane Services, and the Department of Veterans Affairs. The personal thing he did was sending $100,000 to the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism, which he did in memory of his older brother, Fred's fatal struggle with booze. If Trump was able to continue, his donation amount would actually surpass Obama donating his Nobel Prize money. Union representation. Every time the words Trump and treaty are in the news, it's safe to assume that something horrible is going to happen. But there is one instance in which an incredible benefit was the result. The trade deal his administration made with Mexico and Canada came with the caveat that Mexico would overhaul its labor laws. They did so. And part of the new set of laws that passed gave workers the right to collective bargaining. Previously, NAFTA helped keep unionization out of Mexico as US companies sought cheap labor there. The New Deal, USMCA, seeks to de-incentivize moving jobs beyond the southern border by improving the lot of Mexican workers. This is a huge move to combat bad practices by corporations eager to save money at labor's expense outside of the United States. HIV/AIDS relief. This one is admittedly a proposal rather than a done deed, but I feel it's worth mentioning. Trump has set forth a bold new plan regarding HIV/AIDS in America, which is refreshing considering how many people his party directly killed by ignoring AIDS crisis in the 80s. The thing I find interesting about the proposal is how seriously it takes the poverty aspect of the disease's presence in America. The goal is to have a 90% reduction in 10 years, as well as get people on drugs that stabilize the disease in order to improve their quality of life. Particular focus is placed on rural areas, which have received less attention. There are some downsides. Experts feel the proposed $291 million budget will be insufficient, not to mention that the massive undertaking will take dedicated cooperation between federal, state, and local government. Stricter regulation on vaping. This is a tricky one. Hear me out. Vaping technology can help adult smokers quit, but it can also lure teenagers into addiction. In January 2020, Trump signed regulations restricting the use of fruit and mint flavorings in vaping cartridges. This was not as bold an action as anti-tobacco groups sought, but it was not nothing either. Trump almost immediately regretted his actions. 2 weeks later, he complained on the phone to Health Secretary Alex Azar. The administration hasn't accomplished much on healthcare. Congress did not repeal the Affordable Care Act, Trump's top priority, and it did not address surprise medical bills either. Dramatic reductions in the burning of coal. Coal is one of the most environmentally dangerous of all fuels. In 2016, as a candidate, Trump vowed that the US would soon burn more of it. Instead, US coal consumption declined in every year of his presidency. In 2019, the US burned 586 million tons of coal, a reduction of almost 50% from the 2007 peak and a drop of almost 15% over 2018. This was not a result Trump wanted. A harder working president might even have thwarted it. But in this one crucial respect, Trump's legendary laziness has left the world a cleaner and greener place. Thank you, Trump. Stopping the TPP deal. The TPP was a DOA, dead on arrival. President Donald J. Trump signed an executive order announcing the US will withdraw from negotiating the TPP, or Trans-Pacific Partnership Deal. During a campaign stop in Ohio, Trump said,
"The Trans-Pacific Partnership is another disaster, done and pushed by special interests who want to rape our country, just a continuing rape of our country." That's what it is, too. It's a harsh word. It's a rape of our country.
Although, as divisive as that language sounds, he was right. So what was the TPP? Well, it's a little complicated to explain in this short video. Basically, it was a way for big corporations to have more control of exports to boost their profits. The problem, though, is they would have had full control of the market and could source cheap labor from overseas a whole lot easier. See this guy explain it in a 2.5 minute video with an annoying ticking clock. Well, we made it. We made it to the end. Thanks for going beyond a thought in Trump's 8 worst choices as president. If you enjoyed this, then hit that like button. If this gets 50 likes, because this channel is still pretty small, I will make this second part, which will be Trump's worst choices as president. Comment below what you think of these choices, and subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified of the next videos. Enjoy the rest of the dance.